If you are looking for a story about a champion that didn't just meet expectations, but absolutely shattered the mold, you've definitely come to the right place. But this isn't a story of destiny fulfilled. It is the story of a horse who walked into the biggest race of his career and was given, well, the lowest possible chance of success, only to completely rewrite history.
We are diving deep into the career of Copano Rickey, the Japanese dirt legend, whose career arc is just so improbable it almost defies logic.
It really does.
The fact we have to start with is this. When he entered his first ever Grade 1 race, the February Stakes, as a 4-year-old coming off poor form and an injury, his final betting odds were 272.1 to 1.
Wow.
He was the dead last favorite on the board.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Our stack of sources today focuses on the rarest type of champion, the one who truly, comes out of nowhere and refuses to leave.
Right.
And that phrase just defines Copano Rickey. So our mission is to trace his path, starting from that unbelievable shock victory, and understand how he morphed from an absolute outsider into one of the most decorated and dominant dirt champions Japanese racing has ever seen.
It's the ultimate underdog narrative. But what makes Rickey so unique is that he didn't just win the one miracle race. He went on to establish years of dominance.
Exactly.
To truly appreciate that 272 to 1 moment, we really need to set the scene, the mid-2010s in Japan. This era was defined by fierce competition. But Rickey's origins, they gave him no right to compete at that level.
So let's rewind to 2010. Rickey was born at Yanagawa Farm. And ironically, this is the same farm that later produced the turf superstar Kita-san Black.
It is. But Rickey himself, he didn't have that air of inevitability about him. Not at all.
So not a sure thing from the start.
Not even close. His pedigree was solid, with his sire being Gold Allure, a multiple dirt Grade 1 winner, so he had the right genes. And there was good European and American dirt influence on the damn line. But, horses are assessed on potential, and based on his physical presentation, his early training, he just wasn't highly regarded.
He didn't scream future legend.
No. And then there's the owner, Dr. Copa, or Sakiaki Kobayashi. Quite a character in his own right.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Copa is famous as a feng shui master and an architect, a really colorful figure in racing with big, often eccentric dreams. He loves his horses. He had huge ambitions for Rickey, but even he must have been shocked by the path Rickey actually took.
Because it wasn't the traditional, carefully managed rise to stardom.
No, the first hint of stardom came very subtly at age 3. It was like he hit a growth spurt or just figured out how to run because he had this rapid transformation. He just rattled off 3 straight wins.
And these weren't just modest wins, right?
No, not at all. Our documentation highlights his victory in the Yogo Championship, where he won wire-to-wire by a crushing 6 lengths. That's what puts him on the map. Suddenly, he's a serious contender.
That show of strength, it gave the team serious ambition. They started pointing him toward the Japanese Derby, which is a massive goal.
A huge goal. But as you said, fate intervened.
Such a heartbreaking moment.
It was. Right when he was peaking, he suffered a fracture. That injury forced him completely out of the Derby prep and into a long layoff.
And when he finally returned,
it was devastating. 2 straight heavy defeats. The momentum was completely gone, the confidence was shot, and the public and the betting market had entirely written him off by the time he showed up for the February Stakes at age 4.
And that injury, that setback, that's the crucial hinge point, isn't it?
It is. It stripped him of all expectations and public faith, which is precisely why he landed at the starting gate of a top-tier G1 race with those unbelievable odds.
So let's talk about that race, the February Stakes.
It's the stuff of legends. The February Stakes is one of the premier dirt events run by the JRA, the Japan Racing Association. A Grade 1 race means you're competing against the best of the best.
And he barely even made the field.
He barely got in. He made it through an entry lottery. He was a 4-year-old with a checkered recent past facing established giants.
Which explains the odds, 272.1 to 1. I mean, that's not just being an outsider. That suggests the betting public thought he was incapable of performing at that level.
It was a rational assessment based on his form coming in. But here's where the story takes its dramatic turn. In the race, Rickey was beautifully guided by jockey Hironobu Tanabe.
Who was riding him for the first time, right?
First time ever. Rickey tracked the pace, Tanabe asked him to go on the stretch, and Rickey didn't just respond. He powered away.
So hold on, you're telling me he didn't just sneak up the rail in a photo finish? He ran them down.
He's absolutely dominated them. And what's fascinating here is who he beat. He held off Hokko Tarumae, who was, at that moment, the undisputed king of Japanese dirt racing.
With 5 G1 wins already under his belt.
Exactly. Rickey didn't win because the field was weak. He won because he suddenly performed like an absolute superstar.
That is just insane. That single moment became instant racing history. It resulted in the second highest G1 win payout ever recorded in the JRA, and the sources confirmed two other remarkable facts.
Go on.
Rickey became only the third horse in JRA history to win a flat G1 as the absolute lowest favorite. And for his jockey, Tarumae, it was his first ever G1 win.
Talk about an introduction to the big time.
Yeah.
The king had been dethroned, and the racing world was just buzzing. Was this a fluke? Or had a new champion truly arrived?
And Rickey's response was simply to keep winning.
He silenced the doubters immediately. He followed up the shocker with a win in the Kashio Cannon, a key mile race. He had a slight hiccup, finishing second in the Taiyo show, but then he returned to dominance by destroying the field wire-to-wire in the JBC Classic.
And at this point, the entire hierarchy of Japanese dirt racing had just been turned on its head.
This is the moment Copano Rickey truly defined himself as the miracle frontrunner. His style was aggressive, he wanted the lead, and he wanted to sustain it. His wire-to-wire wins weren't just fast, they were demoralizing for his rivals.
And he just kept elevating the status of dirt racing in Japan.
He did. He was showing that the dirt circuit could produce these persistent record-setting champions.
Let's focus on those records, because this is where the statistical anomaly really comes in. He returned to the February Stakes in 2015, a year after that shock victory.
Yes. In 2013, he was 272-1. In 2015, he wins the exact same race again. But this time, he's the overwhelming first favorite.
The public finally believed.
They did. And here's where it gets really interesting. That accomplishment made him the first horse in history to win the same G1 as both the lowest favorite and the top favorite.
That single statistic perfectly encapsulates his entire career arc, from totally disregarded outsider to universally respected champion in just 12 short months.
And his career just became a laundry list of achievements. He wasn't a one-hit wonder, he became a G1 machine.
What were the big ones?
Over his full career, he racked up an incredible 3 wins in the Kashiwa Kennen, back-to-back wins in the JBC Classic, and back-to-back victories in the Mile Championship Nambu High. He also picked up key titles in the Taiyo Show and the Tokyo Daisho 10.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, by the time he retired, Rickey had achieved 11 G1 level victories. That was a record at the time.
A record, yeah. Achieved in a highly compressed period, 16 wins from just 33 starts. And it's crucial to remember the context. He set this record while competing head-to-head with Hokko Tarumae,
who himself retired with 10 G1 level wins. They just pushed each other to greatness.
Ah, the rivalry of the decade. Rickey versus Hokko Tarumae. This defined that era of Japanese dirt racing because their styles were so perfectly contrasted.
Describe that dynamic for us. Rickey was the aggressive one, right?
Oh, absolutely. Rickey was the explosive frontrunner. He was there to take the lead, set a blistering pace, and dare anyone to follow him.
And Tarumae.
Tarumae was the relentless, methodical stalker. He would sit just off the pace, applying constant, suffocating pressure, just waiting for Rickey to weaken in the stretch.
The documentation we have access to describes their clashes as pure psychological warfare.
It really was. It wasn't just physical. It was a battle of wills. And sometimes the pressure was so intense, both horses would just collapse from sheer exhaustion and push each other right out of the placings.
But most of the time, they just produced some of the highest quality dirt races ever seen in Japan.
Without a doubt. And that rivalry, it clearly influenced their schedules, and it revealed Rickey's core strengths. While he was strong enough to win 4 G1s at 2,000 meters, his true dominance was undeniable at the mile distance.
Which is why his typical spring route was so effective.
Exactly. The February Stakes, which is 1,600 meters, then the Kashiwa Kennen, also a mile, followed by the Taiyo Show at 2,000 meters. This itinerary just maximized his strengths.
And we see that competitive avoidance dynamic you mentioned.
We do. Tarumae would avoid the Kashiwa Kennen during Rickey's peak years. Conversely, Rickey never ran in the Kawasaki Kennen, which Tarumae essentially owned. They carved out their own empires.
But Rickey's versatility was still remarkable, even late in his career. I'm thinking of his run in the JBC Sprint.
At age 7, a 1,200-meter dash. Despite a really poor start, he managed to rally and finish an impressive second. That just shows his fundamental speed was razor sharp. His G1 dominance wasn't just tactical, it was sheer class.
Stepping away from the metrics for a second, the human element in his story, specifically the dynamic between his two main jockeys, is really captivating.
It's a great narrative thread. Tarumae was the initial catalyst, riding him to that 272-1 miracle and winning 6 G1s overall. But in 2015, the owner, Dr. Coppa, made a decision that was more about heart than strategy.
He requested the legendary Yutaka Take to ride him.
Exactly. Dr. Coppa reportedly said, I want Yutaka Take to have a horse that can win G1s.
So it wasn't about dissatisfaction with Tanabe.
Not at all. It was about honoring a racing legend. And Rickey delivered, winning 5 G1s with Take in the saddle. It's an incredible testament to the horse's ability that he could switch riders and maintain that championship form.
But the ending offered this beautiful symmetry. His final race, the Tokyo Daisho 10.
It was won with Tanabe, the man who was with him for the miracle win back in the saddle, securing win number 11.
A perfect full circle for an impossible career.
It is. But before we summarize his legacy, we have to talk about his one inexplicable blind spot, the Champions Cup.
Right. It's a huge race, and it's shocking how poorly he performed there.
Consistently poorly.
How can a horse with 11 G1 wins fail so badly in a major domestic dirt race? His finishes were 12th, 7th, 13th, before finally getting a 3rd place in 2017.
What was the explanation? The short answer is there really isn't one. The conditions, the track, the timing, nothing fully explains it. Some suggested the course didn't suit his style, but he excelled on other tight tracks. It emphasizes that even the greatest legends have these weird, unexplainable blind spots.
So when we put it all together, what's the lasting legacy of Copano Rickey?
For me, he's the ultimate underdog who translated disbelief into utter dominance.
I agree. And he was a record-breaking G1 machine, proving definitively that Japanese dirt racing could produce these enduring superstars who deserved fame right alongside the great turf champions.
And that dominance continues in his lineage. He retired to stud as the natural heir to Gold Allure, with his first foals racing since 2021. But I want to go back to a lovely moment at his retirement ceremony.
Ah, the gallop on the turf.
Yes. After a beautiful, easy gallop on the turf track at Kyoto Racecourse, Yutaka Take joked about the display.
He joked maybe he was a turf horse after all.
That's a wonderful, lighthearted thought, but it connects directly to the serious question the source material encourages us to ask, one that will never be answered.
What if he hadn't broken down at age 3 and had successfully run in the Japanese Derby?
That is the ultimate what if. We know that injury cost him momentum and public faith, which led directly to those 272-to-1 odds.
It makes you wonder if that disaster, that forced setback, wasn't actually the necessary redirection that transformed a promising horse into the miracle frontrunner and the legend we celebrate today. Perhaps sometimes the greatest path to legendary status starts not with a flawless plan, with a surprising career-defining disaster.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more.